Hello everyone, this is Eugene Finder speaking, and we are finally here with probably the last video for the Winter 2017 anime season. Oh my goodness, it has been so much fun trying to catch up with all of these current anime, but we are gonna have to move on soon enough. And of course, with the season's end, let's take a look back at all the great stuff it has offered us. So I present to you my top 10 anime series of Winter 2017. This season wasn't really the best, but it definitely had some surprises. And before we begin, as always, these are all based on my personal opinion, but feel free to leave your top 10s in the comment section below. Also, I would have to make this one anime recommendation which definitely deserves mention. Little Witch Academia was probably my most anticipated anime of the season, with an outstanding display of animation by Trigger. Unfortunately, I cannot put this in my top 10 because it has yet to complete. But despite that, it is definitely one anime I highly recommend you guys to check out. And with that said, let's get to the main point of this video. Here are my top 10 anime series of Winter 2017. Let's go! Number 10. I've said it so many times already, but I'm most willing to watch anime that do not have a general plot to them. And adding on to that list is Doga Kobo's Gabriel Dropout. Gabriel White Tenma is an angel who graduated at the top of the class at Angel School. Soon after, she transfers into the human world as part of her curriculum. However, upon discovering the world of MMORPGs, she gets heavily addicted to it and her personal outlook changes completely. Recently, many of the anime I've watched are being made by Doga Kobo, and these casual anime series have become my primary knowledge when thinking about this studio. Therefore, an anime like Gabriel Dropout is no surprise. Again, the studio demonstrated their strength in comedy. This anime was funny through the banter between the characters, and I had a lot of fun watching it. However, I will admit that it is not the studio's best attempt at it. Several jokes and gags either get played out too much or just do not connect with one another very well. Not to mention, Gabriel's switch in attitude doesn't really make sense sometimes. But apart from that, the show was still really enjoyable, and again, the visuals look real good. Also, Vinette is best girl. Teehee! Number 9. Kyoto Animation presents to us once again with some cute and adorable characters, with a touch of boobs and butts. Like a lot of them. Seriously, Kyoto Animation, what the heck are you guys doing? You guys are probably the last studio I know who would resort to fan service. In any case, with this Kobayashi Sanchi no maid dragon, a dragon named Toru decides to live with an ordinary Japanese woman named Kobayashi as a mate after she saved her life. And with that, Kobayashi's everyday life would never be the same again. As I've mentioned, I was surprised with its Nichijou art style, which I didn't think I would see again, and as per standard KyoAni production, the animation was superbly done. Although, as I've mentioned, there is just a tad bit too much emphasis on fanservice in this anime. Also, the anime does have the problem of unexplored platforms. With the inclusion of dragons, it would have been nice if we were able to learn more about them and why they have come to despise humans. But even so, even with the anime taking the slice of life route, it was fun and enjoyable to watch. The anime definitely shows the convincing relationship between characters, especially that of Kobayashi and Toru. So overall, the anime had more potential, but was definitely a nice inclusion for the studio. Number 8. I'm sure not many people would have bothered about this anime because even its poster looks boring as hell, but its content? Oh, that is far from it. Onihei takes a look at a samurai named Hasegawa Heizo, the chief of the Arson Thief Control Office. He is well renowned and feared by criminals and is thus nicknamed Onihei. The anime may not be the most visually appealing thing you will see, but you should never judge a book by its cover. The anime has an episodic structure, so events that happen in a particular episode don't really affect others. Each of these events are both interesting and intriguing to watch. We get to see the crimes happening around Heizo and how he, along with the ATC and other peculiar characters, come to mitigate them. And with such interesting characters, the anime can be funny and serious when it needs to be. But the good run did have some potholes, especially in the first 3 episodes, whereby the villains just came off as stupid and lame. And also, it would have been nice to see why Heizo became known as Onihei. The anime just doesn't convince us all that much. But regardless, I definitely had a good time watching this, and it's a shame that this anime doesn't get a lot of attention. Number 7. Another anime that probably not a lot of people would have bothered about is Chain Chronicle Hakaites no Hikari. With the failure of the volunteer army at defeating the Black King, they, led by Yuri, retreat but prepare for a counterattack in the future. In the midst of this, a young boy named Aram joins them. The fact that this anime was adapted from a video game by studios that were barely even heard of would have turned people away from it. But in this case, I'd say it was a pretty solid adaptation. The biggest remark I can give this anime are its visuals, done by Telecom Animation Films and Graphinica. Not only does it look good, but the animation, which is a mix of 2D and 3D, were handled pretty darn well, and that helps with the action scenes, which looked amazing. Plus, for a fantasy anime, it does have a pretty good story, which actually stays within logical means and not provide obvious conveniences just because we want the heroes to win. And lastly, the characters are just so much fun to watch, and they help to drive the story forward. That being said though, my biggest issue would be the lack of backstory leading up to the events of Chain Chronicle. And for people who have not played the video game, there may be questions that need to be answered. So maybe a prequel might be good? I'm just saying. Number 6. I find that Madhouse has the ability to create very unique and visually attractive settings. Just look at Trigun or Monster, and in this case, Akka, 13-ku Kansatsuka. Akka is a peaceful nation comprising of 13 districts which function autonomously. Keeping the peace of the nation is the job for the Kansatsuka, or inspection department, with our focus on the deputy chief, Gene Otis. One day, Gene was tasked to audit all 13 districts within 6 months. As much as the anime seemed rather slow and boring at the early stages, I just felt really engaged with it because of its unique setting. Violence is not a thing in this anime because just the conversations between the characters alone can feel rather intense and engaging. And once again, I was right to put faith in Madhouse because the twists in this anime, boy, there was some sweet stuff and I loved it. And you guys know I like my mystery investigation shows, right? But still, the anime seemed kinda lacking. With 13 different districts, each one of them could have been given more focus. I would have loved to know more about them. And also, this may be a bit of a nitpick, but I just could not stand the anime stressing the point that Gene is an avid smoker, which doesn't lead to anything anyway. And to label smoking as such a prestigious and admired activity is more than enough reason why this anime is not one of my favorites. You guys might be saying, it's just an anime, give it a break. No, fuck that! Smoking is atrocious and sending these awful messages is just irresponsible. Cowboy Bebop was bad enough, and fuck if I care about what happened to Spike Spiegel. Anyways, Akka as a whole was a job well done. Madhouse, while not putting their all in animation, definitely did a good job. Number 5. If you guys didn't know already, I originally wasn't planning on watching this because I had yet to watch Season 1. However, with Arcada of Glass Reflection calling it the best anime of 2016, I could not ignore it any longer. In case you're not familiar, Konosuba focuses on Sato Kazuma, who died of absolutely hilarious reasons, and is given a choice to go to heaven or be reincarnated in a world that resembles MMORPGs. He chooses the latter, and along with 3 female counterparts, they begin their adventure, but things don't go quite as expected. To be honest, I found Season 1 to be pretty lackluster, and I was struggling to comprehend the praise of this anime, but Season 2 changed all that. The comedy was handled so much better. I was literally laughing uncontrollably in every single episode. The characters have become more likable and more useful too, if I do say so myself. And most importantly, it showed some form of adventure and exploration, which in turn made it more interesting to watch. But even so, one problem remains. There is still a lot of argumentative banter between the characters, and while that can be funny, it just gets old and annoying if used too frequently. But still, the anime has improved on that as well, and with the indication that there may be more to come, I will be patiently waiting for a sequel if it ever does come out. Number 4. I find it weird that Chaos Child is considered a sequel to Chaos Head because I feel like the creators don't fully acknowledge that. The events near the end of Chaos Head were blatantly altered, and the characters from there, while mentioned, never appeared in the sequel. And you know what? I'm happy about that because fuck Chaos Head. In Chaos Child, 6 years following the Shibuya earthquake, a string of mysterious events resembling the New Generation madness began to occur. It was dubbed Return of the New Generation Madness. A newspaper club led by Miyashiro Takuru went on to investigate these events. One advantage that this anime has over Chaos Head is that questions can still arise as we move forward, but at least we get answers to those questions. The investigation style technique used in this anime is just my kind of thing. And the characters here are just so much more interesting that I actually gave a damn about. On a side note, my heart nearly broke because a character that I actually fell in love with turned out to be a major factor of the generation events. Darn you creators! Well, at least her actions were somewhat justified. Speaking of characters, I feel like the anime could have used a bit more episodes to give us different perspectives of the many characters present. But regardless, what we've got was just a huge relief. And with this, Silverlink has managed to save this franchise, and we can forget that Chaos Head ever existed. Number 3. I wonder what was going on in the creators' heads when they were making this. People like cute girls, and people like blood and gore, so why not mix them together? Wait, doesn't that already exist? Yojo Senki was rather confusing in the first episode, but we soon find out that the main character, Tanya Degurechav, used to be a Japanese businessman who was killed by a furious employee. Nearing his death, he was confronted by a god, but because the man refused to believe in him, he was reincarnated into a harsh parallel world as a girl named Tanya. That setup alone deserves mention. The depiction of war in this anime is really intense, and it feels like something bad could happen to anyone at any time. The animation was done really well, and the confrontation between parties was heart-pumping and engaging to watch. And of course, we can't forget about Tanya. As much of an evil person Tanya may be, she is a very interesting character and literally what drives this anime forward. Her non-wavering grudge against God is both hilarious and just downright badass as hell. In the end, it feels like the anime could still continue, but I don't think it's entirely necessary. And for the first anime I've seen by them, Studio Nut had really outdone themselves. Number 2. This was probably the most unexpected outcome I have seen all season. With my initial thoughts that this was going to be a generic ecchi harem anime, I wasn't expecting much out of it, and boy, I couldn't have been more wrong. In the world of Demi-chan wa Kataritai, there are a small number of individuals who have developed distinct anomalies and are called demi-humans. The main character, Takahashi Tetsuo, is a biology teacher who hopes to study these demi-humans to better understand them. And again, I find it ironic that demi-humans are considered rare when there are 4 of them in the same freaking school. Anyways, this anime was completely different from what I expected. The biggest praise I can give is the anime's solid attempt at focusing on learning about the demi-humans. What I find so admirable is that almost any question people may have about demi-humans has been brought up in one way or another, followed by a certain attempt to answer these questions. Like, holy shit, this is freaking awesome. And the characters, I love them. I love them so much. The anime is cute, funny, sad, and raging at times, and it seriously has little to no focus on fan service. And yes, the scope of the anime is very small, but they made full use of it. God damn it, A1 Pictures, you guys are just too freaking awesome. So stop giving them shit for Sword Art Online. And finally, number 1, and I'm sure you guys know what it is. Come on, bring it on, bring it on. When it comes to first impressions, there really isn't a single anime from this season that did as good a job as Kuzu no Honkai. Within the first 2 to 3 minutes, I was so freaking hooked. A girl named Yasuruka Hanabi has had a crush with her teacher, but her teacher happens to be in love with another woman. Coincidentally, Hanabi meets up with Awaya Mugi, who has had a crush on that woman. In distraught, Hanabi and Mugi decide to form a replacement relationship. What makes this anime so incredible, besides its synopsis, is its overall atmosphere. A majority of the anime's story is told through Hanabi's monologues, and that helps to bring out raw and pure emotions. There is this gloomy and sorrowful tone to the anime, which perfectly fits the emotions of the characters. And let me just say, the dialogue of the characters is just ingeniously done. The attention to detail to even the most insignificant of topics just plays with your heartstrings. While I love how the anime took the time to focus on each of the important characters, I wish they could have done more with Kamome Bata Noriko, because I feel like she was rather sidelined here, and the ending of the anime may not favor everyone. but to me, it was freaking touching and beautiful. And god damn it, I want to hug Hanami so badly. Lerche literally killed it this season because Kuzu no Honkai is without a doubt my favorite anime of winter 2017. And those that you just saw were my top 10 anime series of winter 2017. And this is in fact the last pre-planned video I have for the season. I may come back to it sometime, but that's not guaranteed. But if nothing else, I would at least make mention of it at the end of the year. And with this video done, I'm not sure if I'm going to be very active on YouTube because my assignment deadlines are drawing closer as we speak. But I'll see what I can do. And so, let me know what you guys thought about the winter 2017 season. And maybe state your favorites from the season. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and do stay tuned to the next time of whatever I make. Until next time, bye!